Thierry Breton resigns and accuses Ursula von der Leyen with questionable governance as the Commission President struggles to form her team of 26.
Moscow launched attacks across Ukraine, killing 2 and injuring dozens. Meanwhile, the capital Kyiv repelled a massive drone attack in the early hours.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has praised Italy's Giorgia Meloni for her remarkable progress on tackling migration.
On the first of a 3-day trip to Central Asia, German Chancellor Scholz signed an agreement to ease the entry of skilled Uzbek workers into Germany.
Tensions remain high in efforts to appoint the new European Commission. Thierry Breton slammed the door on a second term as French Commissioner, resigning on Monday with a sharp attack on the President, Ursula von der Leyen. With an empty frame in an ex-post, Breton accused her of questionable governance and lobbying for someone else. A European Commission spokesperson declined to comment on these allegations.
The President takes note and accepts Thierry Breton's resignations and thanks him for his work as Commissioner throughout the mandate.
The new name indicated by the Paris government is Stéphane Séjourné, current Minister of Foreign Affairs and former MEP. With another male candidate, Ursula von der Leyen continues to struggle to achieve gender parity among the 26 candidates sent by the member states. The Slovenian government accepted her request to change the initial male candidate to diplomat Marta Kos, but Parliament is resisting to give the green light. This case led to a week's delay in presenting the list to the European Parliament, which will be carrying the interviews with all candidates before voting on them.
We are preparing ourselves, we are coordinating with regards to questions, but ultimately, until we get a clearer picture with regards to how portfolios will be distributed and how portfolios will be taking shape, it will be more difficult for us to conclude our work.
The President of the European Commission will also face pressure regarding 2 nominees from the far right. Hungary kept the current Commissioner, Oliver Varhelyi, that protagonized several scandals. Also controversial is the former MEP and current EU Affairs Ministry of Italy, Raffaele Fitto.
And I think someone that has so consistently voted against the rule of law, against democracy, against the fundamental values of the European Union, whenever we have voted on this here in the European Parliament over the last 5 years, is not exactly putting an emphasis on a strong candidature, particularly for a Vice President of the Commission.
The European Commission spokesperson insisted that Ursula von der Leyen still intends to present the list of nominees and attributed portfolios on Tuesday to the European Parliament.
Russian attacks across Ukraine killed 2 and injured 63 people, according to local media. In Kharkiv, Moscow's forces struck a high-rise building, reportedly killing a 94-year-old woman and injuring 43 people, including 4 children. Another person was killed in the Donetsk region after an attack on the town of Pokrovsk, which also injured 3 others. The Ukrainian Air Force said air defense systems shot down 53 of 56 drones launched by Russia overnight, with systems active across the country. They said a massive drone attack targeting Kyiv in the early hours was repelled, with almost 24 unmanned aerial vehicles intercepted. No casualties or damage was reported. The attack marked the 8th aerial assault against Kyiv this month. Across the border, Russian authorities said at least 8 people were injured in a Ukrainian attack on Belgorod. A missile struck the city in the morning, with the regional governor saying 1 person was in critical condition while the rest suffered moderate injuries.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has praised Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni for the remarkable progress Italy has made in reducing migrant numbers. Starmer met with his Italian counterpart for talks in Rome, as the UK continues to grapple with increasing numbers of migrant channel crossings.
You've made remarkable progress working with countries along migration routes as equals to address the drivers of migration at source and to tackle the gangs. And as a result, irregular arrivals to Italy by sea are down 60% since 2022.
More than 22,000 migrants have arrived on British shores from France this year. In stark contrast, the number of migrants arriving in Italy by boat in the first half of this year was down 60% from 2023, according to the country's Interior Ministry. Meloni said Starmer had expressed interest in new solutions such as Italy's Albania deal.
Siamo anche d'accordo sul fatto che non bisogna avere timore ad esplorare soluzioni nuove. Abbiamo parlato del protocollo tra Italia e Albania, che è una soluzione per la quale il governo della Gran Bretagna dimostra molta attenzione e chiaramente abbiamo offerto tutti gli elementi per comprendere meglio questo meccanismo, che è stata una delle innovazioni portate dal governo italiano nella politica di governo dei flussi migratori.
Starmer's visit to Rome comes after at least 8 migrants died off the French coast while trying to cross the English Channel.
Rows of German border police cars and vans have been gathering at the border crossing from Belgium into Germany to carry out passport checks. The same deployment will be seen at the other 8 land borders. This move came after Germany put a hold on Schengen, which defines the borderless EU zone among member states. The goal is to curb migration and protect against the acute dangers posed by Islamist terrorism and serious crime, said the country's Interior Minister Nancy Faeser last week.
Grundsätzlich gestalten wir unsere Maßnahmen so, dass wir lageangepasst, zeitlich, räumlich flexibel agieren. Das bedeutet, nicht an jedem Ort wird es zu jeder Zeit die gleiche Intensität an Kontrollen geben. Und zusätzlich zu den Kontrollen, die wir an der Grenzlinie wahrnehmen, also das, was wir hier im Hintergrund sehen, gibt es auch Maßnahmen, die in einem Grenzraum mit einer Tiefe von 30 Kilometern stattfinden. Und so ist es tatsächlich nicht zu erwarten, dass wir zu jedem Zeitpunkt, an jedem Tag in der gleichen Intensität überall vor Ort sind. Aber die Grenzkontrollen werden im gesamten Grenzraum von heute ab beginnend konsequent durchgeführt werden.
Controls are planned for 6 months, but may extend further. Officials and diplomats in Brussels have expressed dismay, calling the move to be obviously aimed at a domestic audience. The new control points are not causing any traffic jams for now, but travelers can still help speeding up the process by having their travel documents ready before crossing the German border, as they could face spot checks.
German police are investigating an explosion that severely damaged the entrance of a commercial building in Cologne. At least 2 people were injured in the blast, which occurred near a nightclub in the city's main entertainment district, Hohenzollernring. Both victims were taken to hospital, with one sustaining serious injuries. Police have not yet provided any information on the cause of the explosion, but they say there is no indication of terrorism.
Germany and Uzbekistan agreed a deal to ease the entry of skilled workers into the EU country, particularly those working in the healthcare sector. It was signed on the first of German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's 3-day trip to Central Asia. The agreement will also speed up and simplify the repatriation of Uzbeks living in Germany without a legal residence permit. During Scholz's visit, the German and Uzbek leaders signed other agreements covering areas such as sustainable water resource management and a critical minerals partnership. Scholz will also head to Kazakhstan during his trip to the region, where he is expected to focus on oil and gas supplies to Germany, as well as sanctions on Russia. While there, he'll attend a summit with the heads of 5 former Soviet republics of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. The Central Asian republics are traditionally close to Moscow.
9 people have died following days-long severe flooding and rains inundating Central Europe. Austria, Czech Republic, Poland and Romania have been battered by a low-pressure system named Storm Boris, with Slovakia and Hungary expected to be impacted next. Czech Republic authorities declared the highest flood warnings at around 100 places across the country, with many towns flooded, evacuated and left without power. Emergency measures were extended north, with Polish authorities in Krakow handing out sandbags. Half a dozen Polish towns have been completely cut off due to high floodwaters, with helicopters manned by military personnel flown in to rescue those stranded. In Vienna, the Wien River overflowed its banks, flooding homes and forcing evacuations of nearby houses. The extreme weather in Central Europe was precipitated by a warm, record-breaking start to September. A hotter atmosphere driven by human-caused climate change is known to induce intense rainfall.
Rekordközeli víztömeg érkezik, az Országos Vízügyi Főigazgatóság közlése szerint több mint 10 éve nem láttak Magyarországon ilyen árhullámot, amilyet most. A Lajta folyón, itt a Dunán, a Szigetközben, a Dunakanyarban, illetve Budapesten is már harmadfokú a készültség. Több mint 12 000 katonát vezényeltek a gátakra, de dolgoznak itt tűzoltók, és rengeteg civil is a védekezésben, amely azonban csak most kezdődik. Budapesten a hét második felében fog tetőzni az árhullám, és a vízügy becslése szerint mintegy 40 cm-rel alacsonyabb lesz, mint a 2013-as rekordévben. A politikát is megmozgatja az árvíz, Orbán Viktor miniszterelnök minden külföldi programját lemondta, köztük egy strasbourgi európai parlamenti vitát is, amely a magyar elnökséghez kapcsolódik. Tanács Gábor, Euronews, Dunaszentpál.